Getting copywriting clients is so much easier than people make it sound. And I know that sounds like something a guru says before trying to sell you a course, but hear me out. When I started, I had no portfolio, no testimonials, no case studies. I was reaching out to people who had never heard of me, offering a service I was still learning. And within a few months, I had paying clients. I did something most people overthink to death and never actually do. I just sent messages. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do it, what to say, and how to get someone to pay you even when you have zero proof that you have done this before. The first thing I want to address is the question I see everywhere. Do I need to know copywriting before I start reaching out to clients? Honestly, not as much as you think. You need enough to have a conversation. You need to understand what copywriting does, what business did it, and what problem you're solving for someone when they hire you. That's it. You don't need a certification, a course completion badge, or a portfolio of 10 projects before you send your first message. What happens to most people is they spend months consuming content about copywriting instead of simply actually doing it. I did this too. I kept telling myself I wasn't ready yet. I needed to learn more, practice more, understand more. And all of that was just a more comfortable version of doing nothing. Here's the thing. You'll never feel 100% ready before your first client. I have been doing this for 5 years and I don't either. You'll be lucky if you feel 40 or 50% ready. And that's fine because most of what you need to know, you figure out while you're actually doing it. Your first clients will teach you more than any YouTube video ever will. The questions they ask, the feedback they give, the specific problems they need solved, that's the real education. And a couple of months to learn the basics is plenty. After that, reaching out is the only thing that moves you forward. Now let's talk about who you're actually reaching out to. The good news is you don't need a niche. I know that goes against what a lot of people say, but copywriting is a skill that works for literally any business in the world. A fitness coach, an e-commerce brand, a real estate agent, a software company, they all need copy. You can help all of them. The niche trap is real and it kills a lot of beginners before they even get started. I have seen people decide their niche is something so specific that there are maybe 5 businesses in the world that fit the criteria. The more you narrow down before you even have your first client, the more you're just creating reasons to not reach out to anyone. So what do you need to nail down is the type of copy you're offering. Walking into a conversation saying, hey, I do copy, this is too vague. But walking in and say, I write email sequences for a business that wants to monetize their list, this gives the person a clear picture of what they're getting and makes the conversation a lot easier to have. I would recommend starting with email copy specifically. It's a recurring need, which means if you land a client, you get paid every single month. Every business with a list needs more emails. The businesses that are doing it well are making serious money from it, which makes it easy to justify the investment when you're pitching. And it's one of the most learnable forms of copy because you get fast feedback on what works and what doesn't. So where do you find these people? Wherever business owners are already hanging out online. Instagram is the obvious one. You can simply scroll your feed for 5 minutes and you find creators, coaches, e-commerce brands, consultants, service providers. All of them need copy, but most of them are either not doing email at all or doing it badly. Facebook groups are another strong option. You can search for groups in any niche you find interesting, join them, and look for the people who are clearly running a business and talking about growth. The thing about finding prospects is that once you start looking, they're everywhere. Every hashtag in a business niche is a director of a potential clients. Every person who posts about their product or their audience or their revenue is someone who could use better copy. You just have to train your eye to see them, you know? Now about volume, you need to send a lot of messages. When I started, I was sending 30 a day, but most people send, 5 and wonder why nothing is happening. And here's a perspective that changed how I thought about this. The math is actually in your favor. If you charge, $2,000 a month and land 5 clients, you're at $10,000 a month. That's it. 5 people saying yes out of however many messages you send. When you think about it that way, the volume becomes much easier to stomach because you're not trying to convince the whole world. You're just looking for 5 people who need what you do. Now let's talk about what to actually say, because the biggest mistake people make with outreach is leading with a pitch. They open with who they are, what they do, what they are offering, and why the person should care. And the person on the other end reads the first line, recognizes it as a sales message, and close it without responding. The message that usually works feels like it came from a real person who actually spent 2 minutes looking at their stuff. So before you send anything, open the profile, scroll through their content, look at their bio, their offers, their posts. You're looking for something specific that you generally notice and that connects to what you do. A product with a clear demand but no email sequence behind it. A content series that builds trust beautifully but has no way to capture the audience, or it can be an offer page that could convert so much better with a stronger follow-up flow. When you find that thing, that's what you open with. Something like, hey, I have been following you for a bit and notice you have a solid product, but I don't see any email going out to your audience. I'm curious, is that something you're working on or just not a priority right now? That message works because it shows you looked, it shows you thought about their business specifically, and it opens a conversation without pressure because you're asking a genuine question, not making a pitch. This is why the exact wording will change every time depending on who you're talking to and what you noticed. That's the point. A message that feels personal gets a response, but a template that feels like a template just gets ignored. And I want to be direct about something here. There are a lot of people online selling the idea that one magic script is going to change everything for you. That if you just copy and paste the right words into someone's DMs, clients will start showing up. I understand why that's appealing. It sounds easy, it sounds like a shortcut, but think about it from the other side. Business owners get pitched constantly every single day. They have seen every variation of, hey, I love your content, are you doing anything with email right now? They see this more times than they can count. And the moment a message feels like a template, it gets treated like one. Your ability to actually look at someone's business, identify a real gap, and communicate that clearly is the asset. That's what gets responses. That's what starts conversations that turn into clients. And that's something no copy-paste shortcut can replace. From there, the conversation can go a few directions. They might say they have been meaning to start email but haven't got around to it. They might say they tried it before and it didn't work. They might say they're already doing it but struggling with consistency. Any of those is an opening. Your job is just to listen, ask good questions, and show them you understand their situation before you ever mention what you charge. And honestly, throughout all of this, just be yourself. Send a voice note if that feels more natural. Follow with something you generally noticed about the post they made. Personality is a competitive advantage when you don't have a track record yet, and most people doing outreach sound like bots. So standing out doesn't take much. Now, when someone responds and asks to see your work, most beginners panic. So here's what you do. You write sample copy ahead of time for the type of business you want to target. So you can pick a brand you like, write 3 emails for them as if they hired you, and save them. You're not lying about anything, you're just showing them what your writing looks like. They don't really care if it was a real paid project or a practice piece. They just want to see if you can write and your samples answer the question directly. And if someone asks for samples but you don't have it yet, you flip it. You tell them you would rather write something specific to their brand so they can see exactly how your copy would look for them. Then you write them 1 email on the spot. So you go from someone asking for an opportunity to someone already delivering value before they have paid you anything. Now about charging, I want to address something that comes up a lot. Should you work for free when you are just starting out? My take is no. Charge less, but always charge something. There's a psychological reality here that most people ignore. When something is free, people just value it less. They will deprioritize your feedback requests, they will be slower to implement, and they will treat the whole thing as optional. But when someone pays for something, even a small amount, they have skin in the game. They pay attention differently, they follow through more, and ironically, they are more likely to get results, which means they are more likely to refer you and hire you again. So starting at a lower rate is completely fine. You're building your portfolio, you're learning on the job, you're earning the right to charge more, but charging something, even if it's $500 a month to start, signals that your work has value. And that signal matters both to the client and to you. So based on that, you can simply raise your rates as you get results. The first client you charge $500, the second you charge $1,000. So by the time you have a few real wins behind you, $2,000 a month feels completely natural to ask for. and you wonder why you were nervous about it. Now, the last thing I want to say is about the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It feels bigger than it is. The first client is the hardest, but you haven't proved it to yourself yet. Once you land the first one, something shifts. It's amazing. But the second client comes faster. And by the third or fourth, you start getting referrals and the whole dynamic changes. You go from chasing clients to choosing them. But none of that happens until you send the first message. So please, close this video, open your Instagram, find a business owner you genuinely like, and reach out today. I'm Kayan, and on this channel I document the real side of building a business online. Subscribe if you want more of this.